Morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. Today's meeting, we are beginning at this moment, and I'd like to take you through how we will engage you today. That is on the housekeeping, just to keep us orderly and also to act in decorum. So we'd like you to share your full name and your country, and also the organization, if possible, on the chats. We request that you keep your microphone muted unless you are invited to speak. We shall also have a moment for Q&A and also we can respond to them. Uh, Questions will be addressed during the designated Q&A session. And to let you know is that this session is also being recorded and all the materials will be shared with all the participants. We request that you be respectful when asking questions or sharing comments. And in case you face any technical issue, try rejoining, logging out and rejoining so that you can be part of the team. There is also a WhatsApp link that we shall share on chats. We request that you also join the group for further discussions in future. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Edmond for the objectives of the session. Over to you, Edmond.
Thank you very much, Michael. And good morning, good afternoon to all of you. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you. And let me say a big congratulations to all of you for making it this far. I think that you deserve a big applause. It's not been easy. It's not been easy coming. And we are happy that we've gotten to this point where we are going to be meeting you for the first time. And also, you should be very proud of yourselves for getting this far. I think that you have really done well, and we are very happy to celebrate this milestone with you. And so, big congratulations. I know that the CEO of ESA would officially congratulate you, but it's a pleasure to welcome you to this orientation. So pretty much straightforward. The objective is officially to welcome all of you into the ACSL program and align participants on the program goals, implementations, expectations, and compliance requirements, reporting processes, and engagement structures as far as this orientation is concerned. And so the outline is quite straightforward. Objectives of the session, an opening remark by the CEO, whom you will be seeing very shortly. Then we would have an ACSL program overview and a theory of change. Why the ACSL grants, grant spotlights, grants management and compliance expectations, and so on and so forth. We'll have question and answers, and you have the opportunity to ask and clarify all the issues that you want to get answers to by the close of today. So you are very much welcome. Let's go to the next slide, please. So there are four key, areas that we'll be looking at as far as the presentations are going to be concerned. First of all, to welcome you and also to give clarity in terms of reporting, both financial and technical reporting, and then also to give you some level of orientation in terms of how the grant is structured and what is expected of all of us. And then, of course, we would also give you the what do you call it? This thing is blocking. Okay. The established shared understanding of collaborations and communication in terms of how you are going to communicate between us and the various colleagues of yours whom you are going to be working with very closely. Next slide, please. Sorry. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome the opening remark by Dr. Pauline Essa, who would be speaking to you with regards to some few words, some few remarks. I want to welcome Dr. Pauline Essa. Essa, please.
Thank you very much, Edmond, and good morning, good afternoon to you all, depending on where you are joining from. It really is my pleasure to be opening this grants webinar. It's been a long time coming, and I know a lot of work has gone into getting us to this day, from our side and from your side as well. So it really is a privilege and a pleasure that this day has arrived. I am the CEO of ESSA, and as many of you may know, ESSA is the lead research and evidence generation pillar within the African Center for School Leadership. It's a partnership between ESSA, VVOB, ADEA, and FAWE, with, of course, VVOB being the lead. And I'm sure you'll hear more about the roles of these partners and how we will all be supporting the grantees as this webinar progresses. So having positioned ESSA within this space, we are really very delighted as an organization and as a consortium to be marking this important milestone today. Through the colleagues that we've been engaging with on this process, partners, researchers, and supporters across the continent. It is a big day for all of us. But before I go any further, I would like to thank our funder, the MasterCard Foundation, for their commitment to strengthening education systems across Africa, and also for their important recognition of the critical role that school leadership plays in improving learning outcomes. It's something that is given, and it's important that light is shed on this area of school enhancement. Of course, the partners are also on the call, and we've been on this journey together, so thank you for your collaboration. A special thank you to the ESSA team as well for all the hard work across programs, research, communications, and the dedication they've put to making this grants program come to life. So I'm saying my thank you now before we get to the end, when others will add their voices too. So at ESSA, we are convinced that better education decisions require better evidence, and ideally local evidence, so context relevant, policy relevant evidence to support decisions around education. We also believe that the most effective solutions to Africa's education challenges are those that are informed by African realities, African expertise, African leadership. That is why this grants program matters so much to us. We know that school leadership is one of the most important drivers of education quality. Strong school leadership creates the conditions for effective teaching, support teachers to perform at their best, and help ensure that learners can thrive. And yet there is still so much that we need to understand about what works, who it works for, and under what circumstances across Africa and across the diverse education context. There's also the matter of language divide on the continent. Does that play into how school leadership impacts education? There's so much we need to learn. Therefore, it's important that we're investing in researchers on the continent to really support the generation of evidence that can be used to address these gaps in our learning. That is why this program is here, and that is why we put out the call for researchers on the continent to come in and help us gather and use this evidence that is missing. So by having you all on board, we are going to find evidence that is grounded in local realities and focusing on the issues that matter to policymakers, to practitioners, and to education systems. We often say at ESSA that Africa does not lack talent, ideas, or solutions. What we need is greater investment in African expertise and stronger connections between evidence, decision-making, and action. That is where we are today, investing in research to be conducted by many of you who are on this call. And that investment is going to lead to meaningful and sustainable gains for education in Africa. That investment is in your research, in your capacity to do cutting-edge work that really advances Africa and the rest of the world, and we'll be here to support you along that journey. So the ambition we have is not just to generate reports that sit on shelves. It's important that you generate publications for your own career progression, but we really want to see evidence informing decisions, influencing policy, strengthening implementation, and ultimately improving outcomes for learners. That is the ultimate goal. So please let's focus on that as we go these grants programs. So for me, today is more about launching of a grants program that can lead to sustainable change that strengthens our communities, our researchers, and the various education stakeholders. So for those of you whose proposals were selected, congratulations. We know it wasn't an easy process, but you made it through to the finish line. And now the real work begins. We are excited by the quality and the relevance of the work that you have put forward for improving school leadership and education in Africa. We look forward to supporting you and walking this journey together and to seeing the insights that emerge at the end of your programs. And you may or may not know this, but ESSA is celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. We remain deeply committed to strengthening the generation and use of African evidence to improve education across the continent, and therefore this program really embodies our commitment and our partnership within the ACSL program. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for making time out of your busy schedules, and we look forward to a brilliant session today as I hand over back to the organizing team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pauline Essa, CEO of Education Sub-Saharan Africa, ESSA, basically. We are very grateful for those kind words. I do believe that evidence is certainly going to be grounded in local realities. That is what is expected of whatever research that is going to be conducted. And those are words that we should keep in mind and reflect over as we begin this journey with you. Thank you so much for those kind words. At this point, we want to call on the next presenter. Ms. Jocelyn is with our partner, VVOB, and we want to introduce her in terms of presenting some overview with regards to the issues of school leadership within the African Center for School Leadership. Over to you, Ms. Jocelyn.
Thank you very much, Edmund. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Jocelyn Kirezi. In the consortium, I work for VVOB as the African Center for School Leadership Strategic Education Advisor on School Leadership. Again, let me join Pauline and Edmund in congratulating you on successfully being part of the grantees. It's a pleasure to have you on board. It's also a pleasure for me to give you an overview of who we are and what are we aiming for as the African Center for School Leadership. So to start with, the African Center for School Leadership is an initiative that started in 2020. It brings together partners committed to advancing effective school leadership on the continent. And it is now implemented or coordinated by 4 Pan-African partners, including ADEA, which is the Association for the Development of Education in Africa, ESSA, of course, FAWE, and then VVOB, which I'm representing. So in terms of how we work, we work with the different country partners, ministries of education, national professional development providers, researchers, and research institutions. And of course, this is the initiative is implemented as a program, which means that we rely a lot on philanthropies, including the Mastercard Foundation, who is supporting us through this program. Next slide, please. Yes. So in terms of what do we focus on, or what are we, how do we see the advancement of school leadership working through? So we believe that is an ecosystem which brings together policy in terms of to make sure that we advance school leadership, we have to have the right policies. And these policies needs to also inform school leadership professional development. And all those two needs to also be informed by evidence. And of course, without any communication or any coordination between what is happening under policy or under professional development, then there is also not the right practice that is also translated. And then another thing is that we believe that it has also to be including everyone, which we ensure that we bring together like that aspect of gender equality and social inclusion across all the implementations that we do. So when you look at it, each partner's bringing and voice, if you can go back to the slide, the last slide, please. It's bringing their strength. Yes, so for ADEA, they are really have a strong voice in terms of advancing policy across the continent and also in terms of advocating for effective school leadership. And of course, ASA, they're coming under research, and for VVOB, we come in under school leadership professional development. And I was saying, we believe in terms of partnerships, we cannot do everything all alone. So that is why we all work together to this initiative. If you can go to the next slide. So just also to bring you some clarity of what do we believe in terms, as I was saying, we contribute to advancing the quality of education, and we want to, our vision is that we want to make sure that every learner in Africa benefits for a high quality education. And this is done through strengthening school leadership, again, to improve learning outcome and well-being for all. And we do it based, we believe in 5 main values, which is excellency, and it also transfer in terms of how we believe our work needs to have the right quality. And we also believe in co-creation. We believe in putting everyone's heads together to co-create in different aspects and also to bring about that quality work. And another thing is that we believe in Ubuntu, which is I am because you are, which also bring in that aspect of community. And some colleagues on the call might also reflect in terms of on that, is that we want to make sure that we reach all learners, we reach everyone, and also we work together to achieve that. Another point is that we believe in creativity. So I also invite you to explore all innovation to make sure that we have that the advancement of school leadership really in a creative way. And the last point, or not least, but it's around the inclusivity. We make sure that everyone is included. We capture as much as possible all learner, but also we involve them along the way in terms of the partnerships. So when you look at our theory of change, and of course it has to be, there are certain conditions and also that has to be taken into consideration. We believe that supporting this professional development, the policy aspect and research will be able to strengthen school leadership systems in Africa and ultimately have effective leadership in schools, and by then improve the quality of learning and well-being for all. If you can go to the next slide. So how do we work? So we consider 2 levels. At Pan-African level, which is more globally looking at Africa as a whole, we collect good practices. So I invite you as much as possible to also share your good practices that you will be collecting on the field. And then we also facilitate different learning and exchange among policymakers, professional development, and researchers. And I think that aspect will also be introduced in this orientation as well. And then when at the country level, depending on the needs, we conduct what we call a mapping exercise. When we look at school leadership globally, focusing on the main focus area that I had presented, and also to we together with different partners, so where the center needs to come in to provide support. If you can go to the next slide. So like I was mentioning, just also to show you how the implementation went about up to now. So we, as I mentioned, we started in 2020, and as the initiative is implemented as a program, a funded program, we started what we call foundation phase, which is basically a pilot testing in 3 countries. It was in 2023, whereby then we worked in Kenya, Rwanda, and Ghana. And then now, thanks to the finding from the MasterCard Foundation, we also now started the implementation in 5 additional countries. And within this program, we are also hoping that by 2030, we'll be able to reach 12 countries across. This is how it looked like in terms of the implementation. And again, also in terms of who we are partnering with, but maybe I won't spend much time here. We work with education policymakers, school leadership, professional development providers, different development partners, and learning and advocacy partners, including, of course, academic institutions. But maybe the last point that I wanted to bring on board is how do we envisionize leadership? So we also believe that leadership is a distributed practice, whereby a school leader is not only the school head, but is also captured at a different level, but also different responsibility, of course. So we look at it in terms of at the school level. We know that the head teacher always engage with the deputies, the teacher leaders, the school management committees, and then also, of course, the student leaders. So we look at it at that point as well. And then at system level, we also know and we believe that the different district or any other local level of administration, they invest a lot in terms of advancing education in the different district, but of course the ministry level as well. And beyond these systems, there is non-state actors, the teacher union, different association, which also contribute to influence leadership. So as you are working on your research, I invite you also to bring in these aspects. So this is what we want to share with you of how we are, and I believe that you have more clarity of how as the center where we stand. And then now I'm handing over to Edmund to take up the next presentations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jocelyn. Great presentation. Next, we go to look at why ACSL research grants, what informed this idea. And to do that, we have Dr. Leila Abdullah. Dr. Leila works with ESSA. She's the Director of Research and Program Delivery at ESSA. So we welcome Dr. Leila, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and congratulations to the team. That's the best way to start this way. I saw someone writing whether they're in the right room. Yes, both action, comparative. So I'm gonna. There's some echo, right? Both comparative and descriptive, all grantees are coming together today. This is our first forum. So yes, you are in the right room just to respond. Don't go anywhere. Congratulations, all the team. And we can start by looking at why do we need this grant? I believe we all know we had put effort in applying. It has been a journey. Congratulations to the grantees and also to the people behind the scene who are in this forum today. It has not been an easy assignment, rather, but we celebrate our success today. So we note that school leadership remain critical, and most importantly, it's noted that there's some serious underinvestment in African education research and policy. And due to that, I cannot re-emphasize why this initiative is very important, taking into account that it will address a number of gap, and where, for example, now we have a great priority in terms of school leadership. It's an emerging conversation at the moment where we're trying to look at how school leadership can be centralized within the whole education system. Importantly, we also note that localizing research is very critical, as most of the research we try to migrate it and move it to this context, but rather now we have opportunity where we can localize our research and we can be proud of our own African-led research in this space. Importantly also, evidence remain very unclear in this space. Of leadership, most importantly, as it emerges. So we are here to close the gap. How much of the gap will close is yet to be confirmed. Just to mention that you are the first cohort, so you know what that means. And the end game is to improve the learning outcome. Next, please. With that in mind, what makes this grant very unique? First of all, as mentioned, it's one of its kind on the continent. You have seen how it has been publicized. A lot of great investment has gone into this initiative as the first cohort. And you can imagine we have subsequent cohorts coming up for the next 5 years, not necessarily the same team. But rather, at least we want to ensure that the drop in the ocean will keep growing so that we can cover large space in terms of African research in transforming education research precisely on school leadership. Importantly also, this research, now we can go back slightly. This research is to ensure that we bridge the gap between evidence and practice. I know we have some great research in the space. Some of us are sitting with it on our desk. How do we ensure that we close this gap? So along the way, we'll also learn on, probably we'll have to engage and communicate on how we can ensure that we communicate our research to the right space, to the right actors as well. And critically also is to also emphasize the use of action research as noted, and we'll continue to understand better what do you mean by action research, because that is the key conversation in this cohort and in this group. But nevertheless, we'll have opportunity to understand what action research is along the way, sooner or later. And then we are able to also refine our work to ensure that this is addressed, because we want research that can be is practice led and is very informative at the end of the day. Thank you. Next. School leaders, for example, now with this space, we are here to ensure that we identify the problem. As noted, when you are conceptualizing your research proposal and ideas, it's basically you are trying to help define a research question that for sure it is a problem in the space. So which we need basically to ensure that we understand the root cause of all these issues and the challenges. And we have opportunity basically to co-create and shape intervention. And importantly is to ensure that we design and we adapt solution to this context so that we don't just do research and keep it and dust and spaces. Rather, we ensure that we adapt it and even if we'll change a little bit, how much to change of course matters, but that is the reason why this great space we are in and the partnership we are in terms of generating knowledge and utilization and the uptake of this knowledge. And most importantly, the idea is to ensure sustainability. As noted, you'll see it's a very heavy investment in that we cannot continue for long, we don't know, 10, 20 years, not necessarily. So how do we ensure sustainability and we strengthen ownership within these great team members? Thank you. So what does it mean for us? We see it to be a very interesting time, a new era for African school leadership research grantees, where we'll not only as researchers and also as contributors, and I hope the team members here, you have brought all your collaborators and contributors of this great work, and that was the reason why you were meant to join, not necessarily as the PI, rather with also co-authors, so that we can ensure that we talk the same story in terms of contextualizing evidence, ensuring that the voices are heard in this space where teachers and practitioners are the real game changers in this space, and most importantly, continental impact at the to be the end game of it. Next, please. And lastly, what I can say is effective leadership drives with this initiative, like what we're doing now and what we just started, is ensure that we inform policy and practices, and ensuring that we work in a safe space, inclusive environment. And this is very important because we try, when we're awarding this kind of initiative, we ensure inclusivity where possible. We ensure that we have included unique topics in terms of humanitarian, marginalized context, and etc. So we are just guaranteeing that you're in the right space. And the issue on also school improvement is one of the main agenda. Teachers' effectiveness, and as I said, the end game is to ensure that we enhance learners' outcome. Deliberately, we intentionally need to elevate all these components to ensure that strategic lever for school leadership is deliberate in terms of education transformation in Africa. Thank you so much, and congratulations once more, and we look forward to the rest of this conversation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. We are very grateful for that presentation. Next is to give a spotlight. Benjamin is our research manager based in Tanzania. So he would give us a spotlight on what the processes that have gone through, we went through. I mean, what were some of the things that we encountered, the applications and so on and so forth, and where we are now. So Benjamin, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Edmund. I would like to start by congratulating all the grantees for this very great opportunity, but we're looking forward getting the research output that will shape African education, especially in the area of school leadership. As Edmund said, I'll just go through the process. So in the application process, we started and we had a number of stages during the evaluation process. Initially, we received more than 500 proposals from different countries in Africa. And after the first screening, those eligible proposals were 514. After removing some of them which were not eligible, like principal investigator was not having a PhD, and the other criteria, basic criteria. Thereafter, we reviewed all the 514 proposals, and after that, we managed to shortlist 174, those who met the criteria and the design as per the TOR we shared on our advertisement, or the one which you are following through the application process. After 114 number of stages on review process was done, and then we were able to come up after the first committee sat down and review all the proposals. We came out with 64 proposals, this including descriptive action research and comparative action research, both for Pan-African countries and Tanzania. Thereafter, this was reviewed again by the second committee. And also, after the second committee, they managed to drop one proposal, and we remained with 63, which was sent out to RAC members, Research Advisory Committee, also for them to review and come up with their proposals on which proposal qualify or have quality to be awarded for the grants. Thereafter, the committee sat down again and come up with 39 proposals that were the final decision made by the committee, and now where we are. So as of now, we have 39 research proposals, and here I'm going to share different countries where the researchers are coming from. You can see a list of countries from the African map, but also the alignment of which part are having so many researchers, as you can see in the map. But we are missing researchers from the northern part of Africa, maybe due to number of reasons, including the issue of language. Next, please. So far. I'm going to share the list of the grantees one after another from the country they're coming from, but also the date of their proposals. So you will be reading from the video we're going to play now. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Edmund, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. I think that was a beautiful video. And on that note, if your bandwidth can support it, we would be happy to see your videos. I mean, we'll be happy to have you turn on your cameras so that at least we are sure that the video we have played are the real people that are attending this orientation with your collaborators. So if your bandwidth can support it, we'll be happy to have you turn on your cameras whilst we continue with the presentation. So next on the program, I will be giving an overview of what next and what we should expect, basically the grant overview, the modalities in terms of how you are going to be carrying out your research, how you would be engaging with the team, the various reporting modalities, financial management compliance modalities, communication strategy, and of course, how we would be measuring impact as far as mail is concerned. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I'm sure this is not new to you. I know that you all have had a fair idea now of what the landscape looks like in terms of the numbers that have been able to make it through the descriptive action research and comparative action research. We know that some of you have made it through in terms of the descriptive action research, and the total number that we expected being 39, comprising of the total from Tanzania being 14, and then that of Pana being 25. We still want to congratulate you and to also continue to have a conversation around how to proceed in terms of how you are going to be carrying out this. So in terms of the project implementation and delivery, by now, we believe that you would have signed your contracts. If some of you are here and you haven't yet signed a contract, it means that there is still some work to be done. You need to have signed your contract with the CEO, provided the bank details that would enable us to be able to furnish you with the funds that you have qualified for, and be able to initiate your research activities. And of course, you should have also provided us with collaborators forms and revised proposal required before the disbursement. If you are here and you haven't done that, then there is seriously a problem. But I believe all of us here have gone past this already. In terms of the key deliverables, we are expecting that you would provide us with an inception report or a work plan. Now, this is structured in two ways. We expect that there will be monthly webinar. We are going to discuss the modalities in terms of how that will be done. But obviously, the ACSL team will be having some kind of monthly meetings with you, where will be expecting that you do a presentation in terms of implementation status, both technical and financial, so we can track progress based on the work plan that you would have provided to us. And of course, you would also be expected to provide us with quarterly progress report. And this quarterly progress report is going to be in two forms. We are going to be expecting a technical implementation progress report. And then we'll also expect financial progress reports, which is going to be based on disbursement link indicators. So whatever that you have said you are going to do, we expect that that should be carried out based on the budgets that you would have approved already and disbursed already. Then, of course, we would expect the final research report through various means, through policy briefs and evidence briefs, blogs, publications, and so on and so forth. Of course, we also expect to have a final project report, project implementation report, which will tell us that you have been able to successfully carry out your research, and this is the results beyond the evidence of that successfully implementing your research activities, which would be in the form of briefs and policy briefs and publications. In terms of the timelines, I believe that your contracts already have stated it. For those of you who are carrying out comparative action research and descriptive action research, you know the timelines. We expect that you'd adhere to those timelines. And this would also be based on the disbursement. So we are expecting that for those who are carrying out comparative action research, disbursements will be in 4 tranches, and then those of you who will also be carrying out disbursement will be done in 3 forms. But it is important to also note here that disbursements will be based on disbursement link results. So if we don't see results, it is not automatic that we are going to disburse the next tranche. That one has to be well made. I need to clarify that strongly. If it is not going to be automatic. If we don't see that you are producing the kind of results that we want to see, and that is why we insist on having the quarterly progress reports. And so if we link up with your disbursement indicators and disbursement link results. And we think that the first 2 quarters, or in the first quarter, you haven't been able to achieve what is expected in terms of the linked indicators based on the budget that you've submitted and your action plan. Decision will be made internally whether to terminate the contract with you or to continue with the engagement with you. So it is important that we take these timelines very seriously and also ensure that we go with the work plans that we have adequately indicated that we are going to follow. So obviously, in terms of how this will be done, as I've indicated, the ACSL mail team would monitor all of this based on that, and then they would inform us in terms of how you have been able to implement your activities in terms of the disbursement link indicators that we would track based on the results that you'll be producing as far as disbursement link results are concerned. Next slide, please. So having said that, it is important to note here that there are various forms of modalities that will be used in terms of your engagement. We will be looking at it from a digital learning platform. The LMS is a platform that you would have the opportunity to be enrolled onto. It is through this platform that you would engage with your research advisory committee members. You would also have the opportunity to interact among yourselves. You would have the opportunity to engage other software documentations that would be in that particular LMS. It is going to be a tool that would basically serve as a vehicle as far as the implementation of this engagement is concerned. And so we expect that all of you would be able to register in this LMS, go through an orientation. There are modules that are within the LMS you would all be taken through. It is such that it is developed in a way that will be self-learning. So you basically enroll. There are modules that you have to go through. And at the end of the day, we would assess whatever you've gone through, and then you will be, moved on to the next and the next and the next until you complete the entire modules based on what you are carrying out. Now, it's important here to also indicate that there will be technical support. We know that it's possible that there are some people that will be ahead in terms of technological support. So there would always be some kind of a support available always for all of you if you need any form of support in being able to access the LMS. We will always be around. There's a team that will be involved, will be engaging with you all the way through. And if you need any form of support as far as that engagement is concerned, you would have to get in touch with us. I would be definitely taking you through that shortly. In terms of the learning resources, there are so many of them, leveraging ACSL curated library of school leadership research tools, data analysis softwares, policy brief templates available on the platform. So many, we've deliberately tried to put as much as possible, enough information and enough support within it, both for those who will be interested in asynchronous mode and synchronized mode. So if you are not able to join the asynchronous mode, you have the opportunity to see what happened within the period that you were not able to join in the synchronized mode. But we expect that everybody here, both collaborators and PIs, would engage in all the models, because there is an assessment platform that we are going to use in determining that, and of course determining the final certification. In terms of team engagement, we are hoping that based on the contract, you would have you would have seen your first disbursement. For those of you who haven't yet seen your disbursement yet, please let us know after this. It's important that we know the status. The PIs must formally appoint a deputy PI for the project. It's very, very important for us. We need to be able to have some leverage in terms of how we, communicate. Then the PI bears the ultimate accountability for the grant delivery and appropriate use of the funds. So we will hold the PIs responsible as far as the usage of the funds are concerned. In terms of team engagement, we are expecting that proposals must include collaborators and all team members must actively contribute to research delivery as specified in the documents. And then all team members are expected to actively participate in project meetings, as I've indicated. Now, in terms of communication protocols, the use of designated channels such as WhatsApp, email, and LMS would definitely be the means. As you may have noticed, you have all been put on a WhatsApp platform. If you haven't been added, please kindly let us know, and then we will put you on that. This is just to facilitate efficient communication between us and yourself, and to also ensure that you are able to carry out what the mandate that you are expected. We expect an open communication, timely communication with us as ESA. All changes to project scope, team, or budget must be communicated in writing before implementation. It is very important, and this point I have to re-highlight it, because there may be situations where maybe you have gotten a collaborator from somewhere who is going to be part of the work that you are carrying out. It's important that you write to us. It is important that if that collaborator is coming to take part of what we are already going to sponsor you on, you let us know, so that if it is possible, we know how to realign the grants, we do so. We don't want a situation where you get a collaborator who is coming to assist you in your proposal or in your project or research, and you are getting monies from different places based on what you would have received here, and you wouldn't disclose. It's important to have that transparency so that we are able to effectively execute this. In terms of meetings and check-ins, as I've indicated, monthly online progress meetings with ACSL are mandatory. So monthly and submission of your quarterly progress report are very mandatory. Participation in ACSL knowledge exchange sessions, as I've indicated within the LMS, is also mandatory. These are not optional, they are mandatory. Next slide, please. So reporting and accountability, as I indicated, technical and narrative report will be expected quarterly. It is important to note here that your technical report must support financial reporting. So if you have made some disbursements, those must be coming with evidence, as is indicated somewhere, invoices, receipts, financial records, all of that needs to be kept for audit purposes. There's a need for you to submit your midterm and final reports, attend monthly check-ins. But again, it's important for me to emphasize this, that if you expend on anything, please make sure you keep evidence of it. Make sure you have the receipts, because that is what we are going to use in determining what you use the money for, and align it with what is in your budget, and be able to determine your next disbursement based on the results link indicators. Now, in terms of knowledge output generation, we expect that you produce policy briefs, as I've already indicated, within 3 months after completion of your contract with us. Submit peer review journals, manuscripts within 6 months, and a fully published article post-project implementation. That I'm sure you already know. In terms of monitoring progress and escalation, promptly notify ESA of any issues that may delay delivery or affect project quality. And that is why we've instituted this quarterly progress meetings, updates, because then it gives us real-time opportunity to resolve any of the challenges that you may be facing in your work. We don't want to wait for so many months, and then later we are hearing. You just have 1 year for those of you who are carrying out the 1 year project, and for those of you who have 2 years, obviously you would also, it isn't much time, so we want to ensure that you are, able to give us whatever challenges, let us know as quickly as possible so we can provide you with the needed support. Next slide, please. In terms of communication, learning, and collaboration, as I've indicated already, the communication channels are quite clear. We also have peer learning. So basically, what we have tried to do here with the WhatsApp groups, the LMS, and so on and so forth, the idea is not just necessarily for you to engage us, it's also for you to engage yourselves. It's important that there is some peer learning as far as this engagement is concerned. And that is why we have instituted this monthly update presentations, because at the end of the day, you may have ideas that you can use to support your colleague who may be working in a field that you think is important. So that is the whole idea: peer learning among ourselves, learning between ourselves, and trying to support each other in terms of how we carry this out. In terms of convening and knowledge exchange, actively participate in dissemination forums, academic conferences, policy dialogues, and practitioner events organized or supported by ESSA, ACSL partners, and other educational agencies. We encourage you to participate in these forums, because that alone also gives us the opportunity to, see the progress that you are making. In case you're able to present a paper, you are able to present any of your results in any of these fora, that gives us, some significant satisfaction in terms of how you are progressing in the work that you are doing. We also have established community of learners. All grantees are expected to join this community of learning research. It's a research community. We've put together experts who will serve as some kind of support to you in terms of how you carry out your activities. And then, of course, we're also expecting that you contribute to shared learning outputs in terms of the policies, dialogues, journal manuscripts, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. So with regards to MEL research quality and safeguarding, there are some key, thematic areas that we expect to see. In terms of MEL, adaptive learning and continuous learning, as a pioneering ACSL cohort, reflection and adaptive learning are critical. Document lessons, feedbacks, mechanisms, and implementation insights throughout the grant cycle is key. So please take note of that. To conduct your research effectively, I'm sure you all have, some level of experience when it comes to the modalities you need to go through before you carry out your research. Ethical clearances are required. I know that these are contextual based on the country that you're coming from. You need to ensure that you follow the rules and regulations of those countries and carry out your research. We shouldn't assume that once you have gotten a grant from ESSA, you must follow rules and regulations. The ethical clearances that you need to carry out, you need to make sure that you get them and show us evidence of that. It's important. All issues that have to do with conducting effective research, you must follow those principles. We are not insulating you from that. It is important that we understand that you know the rubrics when it comes to conducting research, and that is one of the purposes of the LMS, which you would expect to go through, because the assumption is that we are all early career researchers and we need to have some basic principles in terms of how we are carrying out our research. So key things to look out for: informed consent for all participants is key. Child safeguarding at all times is key. Responsible data management is important. Country level ethical approvals, reflective practice and documentations, evidence-based policy engagement, scalable and replicable research designs, contributions to ACSL evidence-based. This you must keep at their fingertips so that you go by it, because we expect that your report will be informed by these, and it will also help us to understand whether you are clearly, following the laid down rules when it comes to basic principles in terms of conducting research. Key reminders and next steps. We know that by now you should have signed your contract, submitted your bank details, completed your Annex A in terms of team rules. You have collaborators, so we want to know their roles and responsibilities, onboarding onto the ACSL learning management platform, which will be done soon. Obtain institutional ethical approvals, join the ACSL Research Community of Learners WhatsApp group, which has been created. As I said, if you are not yet on it, please let us know. Ongoing obligations, we expect that you submit reports per disbursement schedule, participate in monthly check-in sessions, keep financial records with documentations. It's very, very important. If we don't get those as part of your quarterly progress reports, the next disbursement may be a challenge. And I have to indicate that ESSA has the full right to truncate whatever agreement we have with you if we don't feel satisfied by the kind of reports that we'll receive from you, particularly financial reports. It's very important for us. Acknowledge ESSA and ACSL in all outputs. These are engagements that we'll have with you in terms of the modalities and in terms of the nuances and how you go about it. Participate in knowledge exchange sessions. It is important that when you are sending emails to us, the core team, or should I say the ESSA team, you make sure that you send the email to the address that is Karen, Benjamin, and maybe Edmond and Sylvia. That is very important for us. And please, what we've also noticed is that when we send you an email, so far, we copy some individuals. The reason why we do that is because those are people that need to know what is happening. When you are replying, we've noticed that some of you take off the copies and you only send it to the person who sent you that email. We do that deliberately. So kindly make sure that when you are replying our emails, you include all those that we've copied so that they also know what is going on, because they are part of the core team and they need to know what's going on. They are going to be assessing and carrying out a lot of the activities that you'll be engaging in. So it's important that we follow the protocols in terms of communication and we ensure we copy the people that are often within the email line. Thank you so much. Next slide. Okay. So I want to thank you for listening to me. And at this point, I want to welcome my colleague, the financial manager for ESSA, Mr. John Ali, Director of Finance and Operations, to do his presentation with regards to issues of finances. John, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and congratulations to all grantees. You have heard about the program goals. My role today is to explain to you how we can work together to ensure that the funds are managed responsibly and transparently. As my colleague covered some of the areas, I wouldn't be repeating them, so I would just be looking at those that we need to. Each one of you applied for the grant using a budget. That budget was reviewed, and together with the technical proposal, it was approved. Our expectation is that we work with the approved budget lines. We also have the grant ceiling. So let's try as much as possible and work within the agreed amount, as we wouldn't be able to provide any expenditure in excess of the amount that has been agreed upon. We are also aware that at the time of the application, the budget lines were developed based on certain assumptions. Between the date of the application and today, most of or some of the assumptions may no longer be relevant, for which reason you may want to tweak the budget in one way or the other. So what we want to inform you today is that you have the flexibility for any budget line variation plus or minus of 5%. If, for example, you had applied for, say, 500 for ethical clearance, at the time that was the amount that you thought of. But today, it is very clear that maybe you need about 600. You should go ahead and apply for the ethical clearance at the cost of 600. However, if there is the need for you to have any variation more than 5%, that you need to contact us, as Edmond said. Just let us know. Send us a mail explaining why you want the budget variation, and we would be happy to review and advise. Once we approve of it, we would send you a written approval. In the course of the grant, all expenses that are incurred need to be very reasonable. For example, we do not anticipate someone reporting for taxi costs of $1,000 out of a 15,000 grant. In terms of reasonability, that wouldn't pass the test. So let us look at it. Anytime we are incurring an expenditure, you ask yourself, in terms of the amount that I'm going to incur as against the total grant budget, does it conform to the reasonability test? All expenses must also be necessary in the sense that any expenditure, even if you budgeted for it, you need to ask yourself, do you need to incur that expenditure at all costs so as to enable you achieve the objectives? If not, just don't incur it. Otherwise, go ahead. Next slide, please. Every expenditure needs to be supported with evidence. In other words, there must be proof of payments for every expenditure that is incurred. In terms of proof of payment, there are several different forms. One, we have receipts. When you make payments, you request for receipts to be issued. If you are signing a contract for work to be done, the proof of payment would be that of the contract signed with the individual who is going to provide the service. Another proof of payment could be bank payment advice that indicates that you, on a particular day, transferred such an amount to an individual, a named person, for a certain sum. These are part of the proof of payment that we. One thing we have noticed since we started working on the grant management, the challenge had been where grantees engage research assistants for data collections. In the past, some came back and reported that they did not have any receipt because there wasn't any. And in the grant agreement that we signed, we tried solving that problem by indicating that where there isn't receipt, you could use ESA petty cash. We aren't going to give you that petty cash form. We would expect you to provide your own proof of payment in the form of an honest certificate. And the honest certificate, just like all receipts, must be able to answer 6 basic questions. 6 basic questions. If you are collecting a receipt from anyone, ask yourself whether that receipt provide answers to the 6 basic questions. These questions, sometimes we refer to them as the 5 W's plus H. The first one is what? What are you paying for? When you are collecting a receipt, make sure that you have evidence of what you are paying for. The next W is where. Where is the vendor from? The location, the address. If it is an individual that you are entering into a contract with, the person's personal address. The next one is who. Who is making the payment or who is receiving the payment? That has to be answered. The next one is why. Why are you making that payment? The reason for example, you are engaging a research assistant for data collection. That has to be answered. And the last of the W's is when. Every receipt has to have date. So these are the 5 W's. And the last one is the H. How much is the payment? So just take note, any time that you are going to contract and you don't have any receipt, just make sure that you develop one in the form of an honest certificate, and that should be able to answer all the 6 questions that I've just listed. Let me add that this is not to say you shouldn't go in for official receipts and rather try to develop your own receipt. If you develop your own receipts when you could have taken an official receipt, we would come back to you, because that may not be in compliance with. The next slide. Next slide, please. My colleague already explained this. We expect you to provide it with both technical and financial reports. And I also saw that someone asked the question whether there would be a template, which was answered. But the most important thing is you have the budget. The template that will be given to you, the expectation is that at any point in time, report on the actual expenditure against the budgeted amount, and also explain the variances, why there has been underspend or overspend at that point in time. Let me add that for interim payments, if we were to provide you an advance payment of, say, 6,000, and the first reporting, you are only reporting 1,000, feel free to report the 1,000 at the point of reporting. We wouldn't ask you to refund the 5,000 because you are definitely going to use it. So just give us what you have reported at that time, and comply with the grant terms and ethical requirements. Next slide. An important area of interest is for us as grantees not to put ourselves in conflict of interest situations. When conflict of interest, you know it better because of the individuals on this platform. Let's ensure that whatever thing we are doing, we are complying. If you decide to do something, just ask yourself, is this decision being affected by my personal interest, by my financial interest, family relations, whatever? The same way, we need to also look at it in terms of value for money. How much are we spending? Could we have spent less, even though we budgeted X amount for it? Do we still need to spend the whole X amount if we can spend something less? And a typical example is what we are having now. I'm just looking at the number of participants. We are about 153 as at this point. Today, we are having this webinar, which will cost us plus or minus just $1,000. Can you imagine if we were to fly all these people into one country, how much we would have spent in terms of flight and accommodation? We would have been spending close to 100,000. But we are going to achieve the same results, if not even better, because people are at their places after this webinar. They will go about their other duties. So let's just also have that at the back of our mind. At this point, we are not requesting you to submit the supporting documents when you are reporting the financial reports, but just to buttress a point that we would require you to keep all the supporting documents because we may request for them at some point in time, either at the instance of our auditors or at the instance of the donors. So my advice would be, as you go about your duties now, as soon as you finish, just scan the receipts and save them in a folder that you can easily access at any point in time, so that should there be the need for us to request, at that point you wouldn't be struggling to find out which receipt is at which place. So that is an important thing. The next slide. My colleague already talked about the regular communication. The question will be, why wait at your place when you need clarification on something that will help you complete your work as quickly as possible? We are available, ready to support you. Just reach out when you need any guidance, when you need any support, and we would be able to provide you, especially with the finance and compliance bit, because that is where I sit. And my colleagues are more than willing to help you in terms of the programmatic areas. Last slide. So at closeout, we are looking at the end of the 12 months or the 24 months. This is the point that we expect to have both the technical and financial report together. At this point, the financial report is going to be for the total grant, not the progress. I mentioned earlier that if you were reporting maybe in the first report and we gave you 6,000, at the reporting point, if you had spent just 1,000, report on the 1,000. But at the closeout stage, if your grant is 15,000, we expect to see a report covering the 15,000. If it is 35, we expect to see a report covering the 35. It is only after the review of all the documents in terms of finance and technical that we would then release the final payment. Forget of the last one. We wouldn't be asking you. That is why we said that, okay, you wait. The final payment will be made after you have submitted everything. I will stop here. That is, and then take the questions. I know most of the time there are a lot of questions relating to the finance bit. So back to Edmond at this point.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. And thanks to all of you for indulging us. We want to move on to the next.
So Edmond, that I was saying, it's been a good learning experience for me, especially getting to know where the gaps are in various places on the continent, and then also getting to know what people's interests are. It gives you an opportunity also for networking. And I believe that this is a great opportunity for all of us to actually leverage the strengths of what others are doing and see how collectively we can build capacity and also have context-specific research on educational leadership within our continent. What I saw was that most of the proposals were very ambitious, which is good. And it gives us an opportunity also to start from somewhere to eventually work on those ambitious goals that we have set. So this would be my initial comment, and I'm happy to be part of the team, and then I'm ready to support in whatever way that I can, and also to learn from colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Alfred, for those kind words. Mr. Joseph Mary Posa.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Please.
Glad to be here. I want to first appreciate the work that ACSL has done. You've given a lot of guidance all along. Recently, you actually put together the type of research people are going to make. At one time, I was worried that the research topics would be disjointed. But you came together, you put them together, and I think that makes a concise and well-documented research when you put all the 6 studies together. I was also worried about the descriptive and the comparative. Now, recently, I've seen that most likely there would be one descriptive study, and the other studies are going to be comparative. All that guidance you've given and answering the most frequently asked questions has given a lot of guidance to us who are on the Research Advisory Committee. Thank you so much for that work. It is a tremendous work that has been done, actually from inception up to now, and we look forward to looking at the research. That people will be making. I'm sure it'll give us more guidance about how to approach this research that maybe they'll be submitting what they've done so that we don't have to wait up to the end. It may be a lot of work, but this is maybe what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking a bit loudly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words. And at this point, we want to open the floor for any questions or clarifications. You may mute your mics, and Polycarp, I see Polycarp's hand. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, moderator. I am Polycarp Omara from Boni University in Arua. I am excited to be on the team and also to be selected to participate in the description research in Uganda. I want to appreciate all the presenters.
Polycarp, you may want to reposition yourself. It's difficult to hear you. Musa, please proceed.
Oh, good afternoon, colleagues, and thank you very much for these onboarding presentations. Very insightful, and I think it will really assist all the grantees on how to kickstart different projects across different countries within the African context. My question is, you talked about public communication, that before we communicate publicly, we need to seek approval from ESA. Yeah, but my question is, for instance, let's assume I need an ethical clearance from the Ministry of Education, and or probably I want to have a meeting, maybe preliminary meeting with some key stakeholders, before we can start our project. And there is need for us to write them first to let them know what we are working on, the objectives, and what have you. Is it necessary for us to seek approval before we do that? And secondly, myself and my team, during our meetings, before this time, we brainstormed that it would be necessary for us to come up with probably like a formal letterhead that will be used for communication, throughout the project. So I don't know if we need to also send such letterhead, because we've designed one, but I thank God that you raised this issue. So I think it's necessary for me to raise it if there is need for approval before we roll it out or not, because we're actually waiting for this onboarding meeting. So before we take further step. Another one on disbursement. Up to now, we've not received our disbursement anyway, but you said we can communicate after the meeting. And for the disbursement, you said there must be a separate account or code or something. I don't really understand what you meant by code. Or is it we need to use a particular account and we ensure that no money is coming to that account throughout the project duration, or what? So I need further clarification on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Musa. And maybe I will invite my colleague, John, to respond to the financial part, and then maybe later.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so the first bit is the disbursement. We disbursed most of the grants last week. The plan was to disburse all the grants, but somewhere along the line, we encountered some challenges that we needed to get back to a few grantees. For example, we had the grant is signed in the name of A with the banking information in the name of B. This goes contrary to the financial regulations, especially the money laundering, that if we have an agreement with A, the information should be relating to A, but not to B. In some of the instances, the universities communicated to us that, okay, A is a staff of the university. We want the money to be paid into the university's account. On that basis, the money were paid. Some did not. The only relationship that we got from the information was just the address. So if you are working at the University of Ghana, say I'm just using, at least let the university communicate to us that because you are part of the university community, and this is the way you go about with your research grants, so that we will also add it. When auditors come, they will have something to look at and confirm why a grant which was in the name of A is paid to the university. Where there was no correspondence at all, we couldn't make any payment. So we asked our team to get back to. That is the only reason why some of you have not been. Some were in the name of maybe a man, and then the account was in the name of a Mrs. We couldn't even tell whether that was the spouse. But even if it was, again, the laws doesn't allow us to make that. Otherwise, we will run the risk of falling foul with the money laundering. That is one. Then the second one is the account name. Even though we said that we would have loved for individuals to open separate bank accounts, we have also provided the other option that you can still pay the money into your bank account, but you just need to keep track. And keeping track was what I referred to by saying you can keep an Excel spreadsheet that you receive 10,000 from ESA on the 1st of June, and then on the 4th you paid 1,000 for ethical clearance. At that point in time, you have something to guide you. Even at the reporting point, you know that, okay, my spreadsheet, I'm supposed to have accounted for 1,000, but the report that I'm submitting today only covers 500. It means something is not right, so I have to go back. So this is the way we want to go about it. We don't necessarily insist that open a bank, a separate bank account, just keep it. But if there's the need for us to do a reconciliation, that spreadsheet will guide us, especially we will know that, okay, on this date, such a set amount was paid out. So we are able to keep track and then trace it to your bank account. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. I can imagine that there will be more questions coming from finance. I just want to assure you that the line is open. Beyond this orientation, feel free to reach us out and ask all the questions and clarifications that you require as far as the financial reporting and financial issues are concerned. This is about money, and we want to make sure that you have the right information and you're also providing us with the right information. So please feel free. Beyond this, you will still have the channel to engage us as much as possible. There was a question about communication. Our point really is not about you getting in touch with us on almost everything. No, the point is about the social media publication, information that goes out there. We have instances where, you find that somebody is putting out some information that may not necessarily fit within the context of what we are doing. It's just important to let us know. We are not so strict and asking you to come to us on everything. Our intention is not to micromanage. No, our intention is to ensure that we are packaging the right kind of information to the public as far as publicity of this engagement is concerned, so that we don't also give the wrong information out there. As far as quality assurance, ethical clearance, and all that is concerned, no, you don't need to get to us for such. I don't think that's the idea. Was there a question? Leila, would you want to come in on the
Right. Thanks, Edmond. I just want to add, in terms of communication, we will share an acknowledgement statement where you need to acknowledge the ACSL as needed. So we'll share the statement. We'll share our who can put in the relevant letters as needed. So that's why I think in terms of communication, where you have doubt, please communicate and feel free to acknowledge the team as needed, because this is very important along the way. There's a way we do it, so we'll share the right way with you accordingly. Most importantly is John, there's someone who has asked daily subsistence if they need to submit some documentation receipt for daily subsistence. But all in all, as Edmond has said, this is not the end. We'll have another onboarding session which will be communicated. First week of July is a continuity of this. So I will also bring a relevant team here to answer if there's a follow-up question in case some imaginations have come along the way. Very importantly, we'll also share templates, various templates, reporting templates, finance template as well, where relevant, and then we can use it accordingly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leila, for that.
Edmond.
Sorry, yes. Please go ahead.
This is Emmanuel. There is a question in there about grantees reporting in USD or local currency. If John can handle that. Thank you.
Yeah. John, there's a question for you with regards to the denomination to in reporting financial. Should it be in the local currency or in the USD?
The grant is in USD, so the reporting should be in USD. You can spend in the local currency, but so we use Wanda for conversion. So, for example, if you are in Kenya and you use Kenyan shillings, if it is 1,000 Kenyan shillings, you can indicate the receipt will definitely have 1,000 Kenyan shillings. But at the point of reporting, just maybe we will have a column for the local currency and then the converted rate in USD, so that we are able to match the budget, actual versus the budget.
Okay, thank you. I hope that clarifies your question. Do we have some more questions in the inbox?
There is a hand, Haji's hand
Haji,
is...
please proceed. Haji, ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Proceed.
Okay, thank you for having me in this meeting. My name is Abdul Fattah from Somalia, and I registered as a collaborator, and I'm pleased to be part of this initiative, and I look forward to learning from and working with fellow researchers across Africa. My question is not part of the financial, but just to know that I'm inquiring whether Somalia is included among the countries where the research activities will be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Haji. Leila, would you want to take that question?
Right. I want to understand well, Abdul Fattah. So the question is, in Somalia, I'm sure in the proposal you have highlighted the areas that you will be. I've read the work. I think there's Banadir and somewhere else. So repeat again the question. Based on that, what's the question?
Thank you. The
Please go
question is whether the Somalia is included in this school research initiative. It's part of this research activity. Just the question was all about that.
Okay, thank you. Based on
I have seen, sorry, I have seen the presentation from Benjamin that in the list of the African countries it was not appearing. So that is why I have the doubt to get more clarification from your end. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you. Yes, so Somalia is part. Benjamin, maybe you can, Michael can still present that map for Africa where we have 16 countries. Somalia is one of them, correct. And based on the proposal, everybody, what the countries and the context where you have proposed that you will do your research will be executed. You are the one to execute it. As noted, Somalia is one of the 16 country awarded. Correct. You are right. I'm sure it was small in the map, but it is there.
Okay. Thank you. I'm happy and I'm ready to work, collaborate with the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you too for your question. Any more? We have Salifu Inusa. Please go on with your question.
Yeah, thank you. We presented our budget alongside a proposal way back December. And in Ghana, where I am, the exchange rate is not stable. Sometimes there are fluctuations here and there. So if, for example, I give $10 for a budget item, and now the exchange rate is giving me more or less amount for the equivalent of the $10. What should I do? How do I make account? Thank you.
I'm not
So,
sure.
Prof, thank you for your question. As I also sit in Accra here, I know exactly what you are talking about. But that is part of the challenge that we are going through. So this is how we go about it. When the money is paid in USD, only change it at the point of need. Don't change it, convert it into cedis to put down. Either way, there's still that high risk, because if today the exchange rate is maybe 12 cedis, if you were to convert it today and next week it comes down to say 11.5, you would have been making a profit or a gain. The other way around too is there's also the likelihood that if you convert it today, maybe next week the exchange rate can go against you. So I would suggest that you plan your work in such a way that you do the conversion when the money is needed. There will definitely be exchange losses at some point, and then at another there will be exchange gains. So we are hoping that at the end of the day, it will iron out. The losses and the gains would just reconcile at the end of it.
Yeah, this is a follow-up issue. The money may be paid into a local account, let's say city account, not dollar account. That is where the issue is. So it means that although the money is being brought in dollar, but it arrives in city, in the local currency. So in that case, how do we proceed?
I thought the bank account the university provided is in USD. I remember that because out of the lot, it was University of Ghana and another university in Tanzania that communicated with us to pay it directly into the university account. So kindly check with them, because we paid the amount in USD and it didn't give us any sign that the bank account wasn't accepting the USD. In some instances, I know the bank will always convert, but let's take this one offline. After this, we can just try to sort it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Inusa. Fortunately, the Director of Finance sits here in Ghana, so you can visit him in his house and he will sort you out.
Edwin, I just want to clarify on the question of previous grantee. So I just realized that the presentation that we shared was for the PIs. However, we acknowledge that the work is done sometimes in different contexts. For example, for your case, Abdi Fattah, you are collaborating in Somalia, but your PI is from another country. So what we do, we have that data. We are having another webinar on 16th publicly. So we'll have two slides, one for the PIs, because we have to acknowledge where they come from. And the other one is the country where we are implementing. So we have 18 countries vis-a-vis 16 PIs. So in that we have some team members working on different countries, additional countries, just to clarify, so that you don't look for that slide. The slide that we have is for the PIs at the moment, but we have another data we'll share in the upcoming webinar in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
So this means that we all need to be in that webinar. So if you haven't registered, kindly register. You need to get further clarity and further details on the modalities going forward. So you will be very much needed to be that webinar. We don't have much time. Per my time, we're really running out of time, but we'll probably give more an opportunity to probably 2 or 3 more, and then we can wrap it up. As I indicated, we have the conversation can still continue. Feel free to send messages, and as we've indicated, if you can still get clarity from the WhatsApp group, you can send us an email. You can, so feel free to get as much clarity as you require, and we are on hand to support you 24/7. Ahmed, are you able to ask your question?
Good afternoon. Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Ahmed, Mustapha Ahmed from Ethiopia, Bahar Dar University. I'm very happy to be here, and the presentation that provided by ACSL is very interesting, and it is very useful. My question is, during the project implementation, it is expected to send maybe 2 reports in terms of the project, also a budget-related report. So, if possible, how where we will get the report or the budget? Also, is it possible to get Mr. John email in order to contact in the future while conducting the project work? Also, when will be the LMS will be open? Also, is it possible to get this webinar online to get it and to look at it again for the future? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So with regards to the email, yes, we can provide you with his contact. His email address would be provided in the chat section. And then we would also, this presentation will be made available. I hope you are on the platform, the WhatsApp platform. We'll post all of that there. But just be rest assured that this presentation will be made available to you so that you can follow up with further clarity. Esther.
Yes, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. I'm sorry if I missed it, but when should we expect the first disbursement so that we can start with the implementation? Thank you.
John, you want to take
I think I responded to this. Out of the 39, we were able to make disbursement to about 29. 10 grantees had issues, so my colleagues were following up.
Yeah.
As soon as the issues are resolved, we would do that. And the main reason had been inconsistencies between the contract name and the given bank account names. So if we haven't contacted you, the team will definitely reach out to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you. I know you still have burning questions. You still have some need for clarity, as I indicated. We've started work. Feel free to contact any of us. We would continue to engage you beyond this. I know that you want to get further clarity with regards to communication, finance, and so on and so forth. We are available. Reach out to us, and we can continue the conversation from here.
Thank you, Edmond, and thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. I would like to say a big thank you to all those who have participated in this session. It has been 2 hours of intense, active participation. We are glad that we have had positive feedback, we have had questions and answered also the questions. One of the things I'd like to communicate is that we have a link to WhatsApp group that you can join in the chats. We are also requesting you to kindly take a brief moment to respond to the survey that we have also shared the link in the chats. Otherwise, I would also like to report to you that we shall be sharing the PowerPoint presentation and also the recording for this session with all the participants. And for this moment, I'd like to say thank you and looking forward to another engagement during the next session. Thank you, and over to you, Edmond.
Thank you very much, Michael. And we want to use this opportunity to thank all of you for coming. It's been a humbling experience for us. As we indicated, you are making history by being our first cohort. And this is the first time that we are given this huge amount of money. You are pace setters as far as this is concerned. I know that we are going to work very well and we are going to have a very fruitful engagement. We want to thank you for making time for us and wish you all the best. Thank you so much and have a good day.